earlier. And my guest, my very first guest, is in the person of our very own Akosua Agyapong. Hello. Forever Young. I need to raid your home to know the kind of product you use on your skin because you never age.
It's by God's grace, my baby.
Just that?
It's by God's grace.
Wow. But there's no secret. There's a little bit of a secret.
No, you see, hello to your viewers. Anything I get, I'm not like, I have a particular cream that I use. So it's by God's grace, yeah.
Okay. That's nice. Okay, so I'm looking for more pure shea butter to buy to put in my raw one.
The
pure one.
Yeah.
On mixed. Yes.
Raw one.
That's the one we are looking
from
for.
the market. Yeah, no. That's it.
Right.
Or better from the north.
From the north, yes.
Right. Okay, and I also have with me Reverend Jerry Adjinah. That's how we pronounce his name. Welcome, Rev.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm very well, very graced, and very powerful.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Anyway, so we need you to be a part of this particular conversation. Now, there's a story that came through, and I want to read the story for you. So there's a story that you don't want to miss on it, and this is actually going to lead us into our conversation for today, and it tells you exactly what this whole, is about. 1 second, I'm trying to get the story. Okay, so this is the story. My husband is cheating on me with his ex-wife. I've been married for 4 years, and for only 6 months during that time, I felt truly happy. My husband divorced with a 3-year-old when we met. I have never been married. Issues started arising when my mother-in-law criticized the school we chose for my stepson. They questioned my parenting skills, assuming the worst of me towards the boy. When my daughter came along, constantly comparing her to my stepson, the pressure became overwhelming, leading me to express my struggles to my husband. But he sided with his family. One time I scolded the boy for doing a bad thing. My husband warned me never to shout or discipline the boy again. Recently, I stumbled upon a message from his ex-wife hinting at them spending nights together. She's bipolar and unable to cater for her children. So my husband has legal custody of their son. I can't send the boy away. I can't enjoy my marriage. I'm at a loss. I need guidance. And this is the story that we got today. I know.
Very interesting.
And my guests actually have first-hand experience with regards to blended families.
Yeah.
And let me start this conversation with you, Rev, because when we sat down, you did say, I am from a blended family.
Exactly.
And so hearing the story, what comes to mind, the first thing that comes to mind?
First of all, I think we should know that what the blended family is.
Yeah.
Blended family is where there are children who did not come from those who are now in the marriage. It could be an adopted child. It could be a child from a previous marriage, like this classic case. Mm-hmm. And so my parents had me as a son, and I have step siblings. And it from the perspective of a child and also from the perspective of a parent, like in this classic case where the wife is at a loss as to what to do, the husband would virtually criticize any good intentions she has for the stepson. It creates a lot of tension in the family. And just like she said, she is not enjoying her marriage. And in her case, the ex is bipolar. And so that's also another challenge. You can't take the child out and you also struggling to keep the child in. And so it requires that you develop certain skills. You should grow. Most people, when they are getting into marriage and they are now they have a situation where there's a child coming in, we always are very wishful, hopeful, and we have very, very high expectations. But I think that the first thing you must understand is that it takes time for blended families to blend in. It takes time. It doesn't come naturally. It takes time. And it takes a lot of effort. And it takes a lot of skills that must be intentionally developed, because that environment in the first place is an environment where there isn't foundational trust. Everything you do, there could be some level of suspicion and doubt as to your good intentions. Just like she had to scold the stepson, and then the father thinks that she's overdoing it. So you must go in with very lowered expectations. I have a philosophy of life that when you expect disappointment, you don't get disappointed.
When you expect
Disappointment,
you
don't get disappointed. And so she came into the marriage with a lot of expectation, high hopes. Everything's going to be perfect. Everything is going to be fine. I'll be accepted. The child will accept me. I'm going to accept the child. And we're all going to be fine and live happily ever after. But it doesn't happen in real life.
Well, talking about it not happening in real life, let me ask the woman that we all know that, she is in a blended family as well. Akosua.
Yes, sweetie.
How many children did you take into your marriage?
4.
4.
But now I have 6 kids. And I have 6, but I took 4.
You took 4?
Okay.
And your husband brought how many?
2.
2. So now...
Okay. But luckily for me, they were not in Ghana.
Okay.
But I had 2 with him.
Okay.
But let me come in before I go into this.
Sure.
Look, all these things about maturity. If you are not matured, we don't know how this woman shouted on the kid. Some stepmothers are serious. They are wicked. That's the word.
Of course.
Some stepmothers think that maybe because the child is with me, maybe the mother has actually sent him in to come and destroy my marriage. If you had that mentality,
mistrust,
it will never happen. You see, as a stepmother, it's different if you were in the marriage and the man went to play around and brought in this child whilst you were in that marriage. But you came to meet that child in that marriage. You understand? So you should love the child as your own. My first marriage, I had he brought in a son. Okay. And people thought I had 7 kids. After I had 5 kids. 5 kids. After bringing in the 2, they think I have 7 kids. Right. Because I took Kobe to be my own. And I loved him as I didn't think of the mother coming in. Maybe the mother would be calling him, and I'm suspecting that. Or sometimes if the mother calls him, or maybe let me do it plain. If the mother calls the child, the woman sitting there, and then the child brings the phone to the father. The woman thinking they might think that there's something going on. Are you serious?
Yeah.
And it also applies to some men. When the woman brings a child in, okay, and then he realized that the woman has been talking to the man. In court, he thinks that she might go back to him. But that is not it. Now let's look at this. How did she shout on the child? Was it just, Kwame, don't do this thing again?
Let's take it like she was gentle.
That's I'm coming. Yeah. It's 2 ways. Kwame, come on. Next time, don't put it here. Some stepchildren too are serious.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. But when the father comes in, he starts crying.
Yeah.
As if he's been beaten.
Exactly.
And there's one that the woman will say, wait, Jimmy, are you crazy? Then you put fear in that child. At the end of the day, how are you raising this child? Now, when yours come in, she's saying about the school that she took the boy. She didn't tell us which school. But some of the stepmothers will take their children to good schools and take their stepchildren to another school. But if you're a good woman, you take all your kids to the same school.
I could say, let's look at the situation where the woman is loud. This is how I treat my children. But when I come to you and I treat you the same way, they say I hate you.
Sweetheart, if it's like that, the man will never say that you hate my son. No? Because the man knows that you like shut on these children too much.
Exactly.
These children too much. That means it includes her children.
Right.
But he says, anytime I can be shouting on my son and you don't shout on children like that, it's a different thing. So if she's loud, I had a stepmom. She was so sweet, honestly. If we we were there, my dad has 16 children.
Oh, wow.
And we were the last 4.
Okay.
So when we go to her, and she was the first wife, actually. When we go to her, Stephanie will be here, I'll be here, someone will be squeezing her. But that was how sweet she was. You understand? And that was a sweet stepmother who actually took us in as her own.
That's her own.
So when I'm talking about step, I know what I'm talking. So when I was growing up and I saw that I had step, I made sure that I would love my step as my children. You don't know tomorrow. And so this woman, she didn't actually tell us the school. Suddenly called Saito, suddenly called, we don't know. Exactly. And if the mother comes in, I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry, some mother-in-laws are very funny and some are very sweet. Now, maybe some mother-in-law came and realized that the school that you send that boy is not a good one. I don't think you take the child to, I won't mention any school to promote it, but a child to a good school, then the stepmother come and the mother-in-law come and complain about the school.
Right.
You understand? So if you're a stepmother or a stepfather, please, you don't know tomorrow. Love the child as your own. Now, she says she's losing a marriage. I know one that is happening right now. A guy brought in the stepdaughter, and it's right in front of me. He brought in the stepdaughter, and you, the lady, you're already married with 2 kids with him. Now you are hating the child because when you got married, the child's mom came to misbehave.
Okay.
And so you carrying that hatred to the child. You hate her, you call her a witch and all this. Oh, and that is serious. So now I've taken, the child lives with me now. I've gone for that girl because she's 14 and she's becoming timid. You understand? So with your stepmother, and then the curses that she throws on this girl. I called her in. I spoke to her. And you know what she told me? She's here to come and destroy my marriage. So I said, which kind of marriage you talk now? Which marriage is that? Which marriage are you talking about? So I realized that leaving that girl with her would be a problem. So I've taken the girl in. So these are some of the stepmothers behave. She even take belt and will beat this child.
Wow.
That is it. And then when the father comes, it's a different story. Come on, Coco. That the girl said so the father went to buy rice for her. She got mad. When the man went out, she had to chase the girl. So she chased the girl out because the girl took her top to wear. So the girl went to a place where they didn't know where she went to.
Is this hatred usually being carried from, the mother? Is it all the time, or just because the child is not there?
Sometimes. Some stepmothers are sweet, but sometimes it depends on what. Let me give it.
It could be insecurity.
A very fast one, so that Eddie can come. Let's say you're married to Daddy, and I had a child with him. Now, maybe something happened, and I came to the house, and whilst I was talking to you, you come in, and maybe I have a short argument with you. The things that I said to you, you put it down in your heart, and you get angry with me.
Transfer it.
And so I will never, ever, if the women are listening, if you know that I have a problem with your husband's wife or your husband's ex. No. If you are the ex and you have a problem with your husband's new wife, make sure you never take your child to that house. Don't try it. Don't try it because it's a very serious thing. And I'm happy we're bringing this thing up. Don't try it because they see when you want to Don't try it. Take care of your child. If the man is not responsible, he should take his problem somewhere and take care of your child, because the minute you take that child and you think that, the child is the father or the child is with the mother, forget it. Some stepfathers are mean. Some even go to the extent of raping their own stepchildren. So, I mean, there's a whole lot.
Wow.
And even some of the stepmothers will sleep with their own husband's
stepson.
Force them to sleep with them. There are some things going on in this world that we live in.
Really?
I'm telling you. And you can't say that. If you say, I'll not let my husband pay your school fees now, I'll let my wife do this, I'll give your mother money to take care of you. So it's a whole lot of confusion and whole lot of
wow. Let me bring Rev in.
Yes,
you wanted to make a point earlier.
Interestingly, when this issue came up, I was just thinking, I said, okay, so even in scripture, we find cases of blended families. And the first one, the scripture, the principle of Bible interpretation, the first mention is the situation with Abraham and Sarah and Hagar and Ishmael
and Isaac.
Yeah. So they have been longing for a child, it didn't come. And then Sarah suggests to Abraham, why don't you go in for Hagar? And then she suggested it.
Yeah.
The child came. And look at Sarah. She begins to hate the child. And the mother. You get what I'm saying? To the extent that Abraham now gets confused and goes to God and says, God, what do I do? And every man in the blended family always has this mental attrition, mental challenge. I mean, how do I manage loving my wife and listen to her and loving this child?
Yeah.
And it's almost like you are constantly walking on nails or broken glasses. It's you just want to be careful. You just want to. So what Akosua said, if it is possible, take care of your child. Don't bring the child in. But if you're going to bring the child into the marriage, you must first understand you have difficulties. You must first understand it, that there will be challenges, there will be problems. And when Abraham complained, God told him, listen to your wife. God was saying, by that instruction, he was saying that your marriage is of a higher priority than this child.
But then, you see, if we use this analogy, then somebody out there will say that even though my husband or my wife is maltreating my child, I will still have to listen to my husband or my child and ignore wife and ignore my child.
No,
That's
because you see, I tell people that parenting is not a biological function; it's a spiritual function. Are you understanding me? Ephesians 6 said that obey your parents in the Lord. And then it says honor your father and mother. Why would scripture use in one instant parent and use another instant mother and father? Mother and father is biological. I give birth to you. But parenting is more of a spiritual role. It's more of you protect. A parent, you protect. You help. So if you discover that your spouse is not being a good parent to your child, you have the responsibility to protect your child.
Okay.
You have a responsibility. And so if taking your child out of that home and it is not a good one, that is what is going to help your child save your marriage. That is what you may have to do. If you would have to, you don't have those options, and you still want to have your child in there and save your marriage, then I think that you must get all the help you can and have all the open discussions you can and manage expectations.
You see, a quick one before you come in. You see, sometimes we should know the friends we also move with, such as the women. You see, I come to the house, I see that you are very close with your your husband is at peace, he's okay. And then 1 minute he comes and because what my stepdaughter came to do to me, what my stepson came to do, and you are loving her as your own, or immediately, if you are not matured, you change everything that you had for the child, you change it. Your husband will be confused. But you asked me to go and bring
Exactly.
You asked me to go and bring him. Now what is it? No, I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you. You see, it's all about maturity and about prayers. You should know. Look, the pressure Sarah gave to Abraham was not easy. Pressure power. Now after getting the child, after seeing Hagar pregnant, she became jealous. That women are most of the time jealous.
Is it natural?
You see,
it's natural if you don't intentionally manage it. Okay, so it's an emotion. And the word emotion means an external thing that shows, it makes you move, it makes you do something. You are in motion and it shows in the external. So it is something that is internal that makes you do something external. So if your actions in the external has to be different, then you must manage the internal conversation.
That takes a lot of work.
I'm just laughing because, like you sitting there with your husband, and maybe I have my two children are with you. I come in well dressed. Maybe if you look at the hips and the shape. Also, I'm sorry to say, maybe flat. and then your husband will just turn and smile and say, and you were looking at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Then jealousy starts. Sometimes we create it ourselves.
Exactly.
There's something you should not be jealous about.
Exactly.
You see somebody's number on your husband's phone. It's a woman's name. So now the men, they've changed their women's. Right there, will make a victor. Mechanic.
Shoe shine one. Shoe shine three.
Because he thinks that he's being honest. You've seen Vida. He speaks to Vida almost. You just realize that he's spoken to Vida maybe 5 times today, and you start being jealous for nothing. Who is Vida? You've been calling
But
her.
isn't it a bit alarming to know that, your husband is speaking to the baby mama, or, your wife is speaking to the baby daddy?
The baby mama was there, he came to marry you.
Exactly. You knew it.
The baby papa was there, and he came to marry, and you came to marry him. So what is that?
But they say, it's easy to spark old flames.
But to sparking, you are going to make it spark. Because you are going to make it spark. Because if you're not nice to the man, you don't cook, you don't clean the house, you don't keep your palace clean, and then you are sucking him out. Look, sometimes people say, they do. There's no do anywhere. You are the problem. So, and the man to you are the problem. Maybe you are lazy. You are sitting there 24/7 changing remote. And the baby's papa too has been sending money to take off the child.
Exactly.
And so who is doing the firework? The man. You are doing it.
Exactly.
So sometimes you should sit there and ask yourself, what is the problem? You see, don't always put blame on people.
Yeah.
Sometimes ask yourself, what am I
How
doing
am I
wrong?
contributing
What
to
is
this
it?
problem?
Why am I I'm not nice to my stepchild? Let's look at this woman. Now sit down. She's listening. Ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? There's something you are not doing right. Maybe the way you shout at him, maybe where they brought him from, they always shout at him. So he needs this small love from you.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes you should know how we deal with the kids. Yeah. Some children are timid because of the way that they were brought up. Some children too are loud and wild because of the village where they were. He or she lives with the grandma. So you have something to do. You have to take care of the child as your own. If it was you, how would you bring this child up?
Is it easier to love a child that comes in probably at an age that is already matured than, having a teenager or a younger one that you now have to nurture the person up?
I don't understand the question. You mean someone like
an
adult comes,
yes,
like a young adult.
You're going to marry and your children are like 18, 19, 20. Of course, they are young adults.
Okay.
Is it easy to love such children than, children who are like 13, 14? These are rebels. These are rebels.
Should I answer?
Yes.
Yes.
I think that for a more matured person, like an adult, young adult, you can have discussions with them. There's a classic case where a teenage child, the father divorced. I mean, the father had a child with a woman. They got divorced, and he's now coming to get married to another woman. And the young lady, the young girl, just didn't want to see the other woman, and it brought some amount of tension. So.
You don't see her, we just leave you at home. We just leave your mom.
So
this one is very.
They came to talk to me, and then I told the man that you must understand that you must teach your child, at least she's at the level of comprehension, she can understand. Into freno, no who say you are not replacing her mom, but you are replacing your spouse. And it will take time for her to be able to adjust to this new mother. And that you would really appreciate it for your sake if she could, out of love for you, give the other woman the opportunity to be a mother over the child, over her. So I said, understand, put yourself in her shoes. I mean, I have my mom always. My mom is there for me. My mom has breastfed me, taking care of me. And she was very close to her mom. But the mom had issues with the father, and divorce came in. And then the man is young. He can't...
So why can't she stay with her mom?
You see?
Because if she's close to her mom, why can't she stay with her?
Let's assume that the mom had died.
Okay.
That's
You understand what I'm saying? Let's assume.
Okay. But if she's alive?
If she's alive. But you see, in the scenario we created here, the scenario that we talked about here, the mom is alive, but she's bipolar. Someone who has a psychological problem, which is the reason why they took the child and you have to accept. So it's not like there are too many options. It's a hard road. Even raising your own kids is tough. How much more raising somebody's child? And that's why I said that you've got to lower your expectations. The more you lower your expectations, the easier it is for you to go through it.
Let me come in quickly here. You see, sometimes is what people, maybe you've been a step child before, maybe you were maltreated, maybe you were not well taken care of. So somebody else coming in a step, it's like I don't want to, because what I went through, I don't want this child to go through that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you see, it's about you.
Yeah.
And it's about we sitting down and understanding.
Yeah.
Understand the man telling me that, look, sometimes to a man after giving birth, the man doesn't know anything. From nowhere, they will bring this child from nowhere. You are not even expecting any step in your marriage.
Yeah.
That one's a very serious one, because sometimes I never wanted to have any step because of what what I had, the experience I had with my previous marriage, or maybe my mom and my dad. So so not all steps are the same. So you just be matured in that, because the man didn't know. Put one the mom you know about. He doesn't even know he had.
And how do you love such children? Because that's going to be very difficult.
My sweet,
already your trust has been betrayed.
But you don't know tomorrow. That
And
child
you
that
don't
is
know
coming
tomorrow.
in, you don't know what that child is going to do for you in the future. Nobody knows tomorrow. You might have sweet children, but you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So if they bring in and the man, that's for the DNA, the mountain.
let me try and see if we have some messages. Do we have some messages? Probably I'll just cross over to read a few messages. All right. Okay. Let's try and get it from here. So, good morning, fellow. I'm Betha. I don't agree with the man saying you need to listen to your spouse in such situations. There's a saying, love me, love my dogs. Your children will never leave you nor ignore you when the unfortunate happens, but your spouse will. You can't tell me you love me, but you don't love my kids. No. If you're in a relationship and you notice your partner doesn't like your children, your child or children, don't even go ahead and marry that partner.
We are talking about you're already married.
You're already married, yes. Good morning, family. God bless you for your programs. As I'm speaking, I don't have a father laugh. Seriously, because when I reached SHS 3 before seeing him, I've suffered a lot before even completing my nursing training school. Please, help me. How can I love him? I'm trying, but I can't. Help me, please. Wow. Quite tough, isn't it? Good morning. I'm watching the show right now, so let's see what's next. All right. I'll read just this one, and then we take your reactions. Okay. Yes. Hi. Just be matured. All right. So we'll come back to the messages. Let's see what do you think about this lady who is struggling to love her father?
As I rightly said, the mother might have taken him or her to the wrong man. And now they've realized that is not that. Sometimes it's not the man's fault. He didn't know. So now that you've met him, just try. It's all about, it's all about praying.
The trying is not easy.
My sister, it's different if the man dumped you and your mom.
Are there any steps you used to try?
Let me help you out.
Okay.
Here. It is two things. It's different if the man knew that you were pregnant and he dumped you and the baby.
Okay.
And now you've grown up and he's now coming to say that, okay, now I'm ready to take care of it. That's different. But if the man didn't know, then this girl should know that he is innocent. So you should try and have this relationship with your dad. Or if, let's say that, or your mom. Because your dad didn't know. So now that he's trying to build something, come on, give him the chance. But if he did, and he ignored you all these years. Yes, with the pain, it's difficult. That one day, let's put it just aside, it's difficult. But then, since you say you've suffered, and he has money, and you need his help, and get closer. And you can also get
all that
you've lost, because one has one bread. So just forget about that. You see, there's something.
Better late than never.
I'm just saying, you see, that stone of heart that you have, release that. And come back the stone of flesh.
Yeah.
So that you know that, yes, now I'm going to get all that I have lost. Maybe his children are in this big investment and other things. Charlie, on your steady wall. If he's there to amend and or to tell you, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Don't say that we are helping you. Forget it. Go and get whatever belongs to you. And all the struggling, God has brought it down. You are praying to God. God help. Now it's about your father. You are finding difficult to love him. It's not about love. It's about you collecting.
It's about you collecting.
Exactly.
We have any more messages? But Rev, you wanted to react to that as well?
To that, I would basically say that, look, life is challenging, whichever way it is. And I like what Auntie Akosua was saying. She said, look, be matured. Okay, have the capacity to say, I was wronged, but it does not need to make me a wrong person. that the fact that I've gone through something bad should not end up making me a bad person.
Yeah.
Because what happens to you is not what is important, but how you react to what happens to you in life.
Right.
You can't control these choices, all this blended family thing and step relation thing. They are not your choices. Someone made a choice. Your parent made a choice. Like in my case, my mom was with my dad, and my dad comes and he says, "Oh, I have a child with another person," even before we got together. And my mom says, "Why didn't you tell me?" But that's my child. And then I lived with my stepsisters. We've had very good relationships. And even when there have been, and beyond that, I've had stepmothers. My parents' marriage didn't work out, then I have stepmothers. And my siblings sometimes would be like this to the stepmom, and I tell them, you wouldn't live with this woman forever.
No.
You're not going to be here forever.
No.
Like when my dad wanted to get married again, and my stepsister, my dad says, you should call her Mama. And my stepsister says, no, I won't call her Mama because it's not my mom. And my dad says, no, you can't live and in the same house disrespect my wife and have peace with me.
She has a problem.
So
Didn't her mom come and marry your mom?
Exactly.
They said she accepted it. Now you're going to call somebody mom.
Exactly.
I wish I'd met her. I just
You know, and just for that basic thing, she couldn't live with the stepmom.
Wow.
She ended up leaving the house. It's been...
And this has been happening.
Yeah.
It is. It has.
You know, Rose, and I always told my siblings, you know what, it's not going to be forever.
Let's see if we have some comments. Okay, if I had... Okay, I wish I could take some comments, but what we're going to do is we're going to have a part 2 of this conversation. And so what we'll do is next week, we are going to talk about the practicality of it. How do we handle such situations?
Yeah.
Because there are people in there and they're struggling on how to handle it. Now we know the reality on the ground. These are things that are happening. But if I'm in that situation, how do I handle it? Or sometimes you don't even know you'll get into that situation, but it happens. It comes to meet you along the way.
And sweetheart, sometimes if it's your fault, the woman, and the man leaves and marries another person, don't put wrong ideas in your children's head.
Exactly.
That's another problem.
All right. So thank you so much for being here. We are super grateful. And we'll have you again next week.
Okay.
And hopefully next week we'll have like an hour to talk about it.
All right.
My guests have been Akosua Agyapong. Maybe next week, you're and Reverend Adjinah, thank you so much for being here. Super grateful. So we'll continue this conversation next week. But then there's a movie that's going to premiere next week. Shift match is when? Next 2 weeks, right? Okay, so next 2 weeks. I am not missing this movie for a thing because I have my favorite actors in there. And we are having that conversation. It's coming up next, and KMJ is piloting it. I see Ajete Anan. I see Joe. Guys, that conversation is definitely going to be interesting. So do stay glued to your television set. We'll be right back.